Go.
Mhm.
Hello, and welcome to our very first Lipedema Canada Fireside Chat. We're so glad that you could join us today. My name is Angel, and I'm going to be starting off this special event. So, as you likely know, since you're here, June is Lipedema Awareness Month. It's a time dedicated to educating the public about this often misunderstood and undiagnosed condition. Raising awareness is critical for early diagnosis, effective treatment, and reducing the stigma surrounding this chronic and painful fat disorder. Today, we're diving into the heart of Lipedema Canada, our story, our people, and our vision for the future. You'll hear from our amazing board of directors as they share their personal journeys and what's ahead for our organization and for our community. So let's start off with a quick introduction. Like I said, I'm Angel. I'm the board president of Lipedema Canada. My journey started for lipedema started in late 2020. At that time, I was stage 3, and it was already starting to affect my mobility. In 2023 and 2024, I traveled 4 times to Germany on my own for what I call life changing surgery. I've had a total of 50 liters removed. My legs are so much lighter. It's easier to just walk. It's easier to go up the stairs. I've said this often. My favorite surgery was getting my butt shelf removed because that eliminated the lower back pain that I dealt with on a daily basis. So while we talk a lot about surgery, it's not for everybody, but for me, it was the right choice because I was already at stage 3. My reason for being one of the founding members of Lipedema Canada was that I didn't want people learning about lipedema in advanced stages like I did, where I was stage 3 already, my mobility being affected, and I'd already damaged my lymphatic system, and I didn't want that for others. I want them to hear about it earlier in their life. We deserve equitable healthcare, proper diagnosis, coverage for conservative treatments, and coverage for surgery that happens in Canada. I'm going to pass it off to Emma, our vice president.
Hi, I am the Vice President of Lipedema Canada. My name is Emma, and my lipedema journey started when I was back in 2021. I had gotten injured at my work as a nurse, and as a result of my illness trajectory, I suddenly started having a rapid increase of symptoms. I didn't know that I had lipedema before that, but when an injury wouldn't heal and I started to have debilitating pain and mobility issues, I was very quickly headed towards a wheelchair at age 37. I had been living in a larger body for a number of years, despite having done every possible thing a human being could do. And when I figured out that I had lipedema, it was like a lot of people. It was from I couldn't find answers in all of the knowledge that I already had, so I looked it up. I Googled. I was looking for why painful fat in the legs, and a picture of what looked like my body came up, and I was horrified. I thought that someone had maybe stolen an image of me, and I never remembered being photographed. And so I looked through, and it was actually a woman from across the world who looked just like me. And that was that pivotal, groundbreaking moment where I realized that there might be something really wrong. So I learned a lot about lipedema in those first little bits, and I learned really quickly that it's really hard to be a Canadian with lipedema because there was nothing here. There were no doctors. It was what just isn't known. So long story short, I knew that I needed care. I sought care across the world. I applied to the Manitoba government to cover my surgeries, and I got into a very long legal battle with them, which I eventually won. I have had now 9 lipedema surgeries between 2022 and 2025, and I am a founding member of Lipedema Canada because I was filled with passionate rage, and it wasn't okay that it was so hard to get access to healthcare, and lipedema changed the course of my life. So here we are. Holly?
Hi, I'm Holly Head. I'm Director of Communications and a founding member as well of the organization. And why I linked up with these ladies was I'm an ex-journalist. And when I started researching and Googled lipedema in Canada and saw there was no lipedema Canada, I knew there should be. And I wanted to ensure that the next person in my shoes would find that when they went looking for it. And so I'm very, very proud to have contributed to bring this organization to life. It's been very rewarding. For me, myself, I found out at the beginning of 2023, January, and I Googled hot legs and perimenopause because I was having a weird symptom that I didn't see from other people my age, which was heat in my legs. My legs felt hot, and I was not having hot flashes or anything like that. And that was inflammation. And the inflammation led me to that search, and I saw legs and images of legs that looked just like my mom's. And she is 83 and I'm 53, and I could see them looking at a comparison image of myself and her legs. I could see where I would be in 30 years, and she's completely immobile. So that was not where I wanted to go, and my body started changing very, very quickly. Almost on a daily basis, I could see the change. So I'm in the midst of my journey. I'm about to go to my third surgery in less than 2 weeks. And so far, I have gotten back my mobility. I was thinking about all the symptoms that I had that I don't have anymore. I was having plantar fasciitis. I was having hip pain and back pain and all of these things. And all of those are gone now since the surgery. So I'm grateful for that. And of course, having followed all the conservative measures and still to see the progression was disheartening. But it was useful to learn what can be done and to help manage it. So I'll continue to manage it, obviously, for the rest of my life. Helen.
Hi, my name is Helen Papadoulias. I joined the board in late November 2024, but my journey began in February 2022 when I was scrolling through Instagram, like many of you have probably discovered lipedema through either Instagram or Facebook. I saw a picture of some legs and it said, "Do you have any of the symptoms?" And I checked off every single symptom in that checklist that they had. And it was a friend who posted and shared a post from somebody else. And I Googled the word, and I think, like everyone says, you Google it, you see pictures of your legs everywhere. Although before you never saw pictures of your legs until you start Googling the word lipedema. So my journey began there. I've been doing conservative treatments since then. And I think, like many of the directors here, I wasn't in the founding committee, but I was working. We are part of the Ontario Founding Committee as well with Holly. And through Holly, I said, listen, anything I can do to save a woman from crying, from tears, the tears, like the pain may not go away right away, but if I can stop tears from coming down for somebody who's really sad, doesn't know what's happening, and I can share a story that'll say, hey, that's me too, I'm not alone. I think that's what my journey here is. And yeah, looking forward to talking to many of you and sharing our stories and a lot of the exciting stuff we have coming up. So, Reina?
Thanks. Hi, I'm Raina. I am the newest director to Lipedema Canada, and I'm super thrilled to be here. My journey with lipedema began in 2023 when a friend called me and asked me if I'd heard of lipedema. I had not. She said, Google it. We were on the phone, like Google it right now. And I was like, oh my goodness, like everyone else has shared, where did these people steal my photos? And just spent so many years of my life wondering what was wrong, and really nothing was wrong. I have a condition. I have a disease that makes me look this way. It's not my fault. And what a relief that was. So I quickly began researching, reading, reaching out, following people on social media, and received my formal diagnosis late in 2024. But I knew deep in my heart as soon as I saw that this is what I had. So I'm very fortunate to have found a healthcare provider to be able to do that, and printed the literature from our website, which is fantastic. Brought it in and just kept pounding the pavement, and got some headway with my healthcare team. Um, I'm from the West Coast, so West Coast representing, and I'm super excited to join this wonderful group of women who are just trudging, waltzed, struggling, and succeeding themselves in obtaining equitable health care. And I'm super excited to be here and increase community and connection for all of us.
Great. Thanks, everybody. As you can see, we have a fantastic group of women. I did mention that if you have questions, pop them in the chat. We will have time at the end to answer those questions, hopefully. If you're new to our community, let's take a couple minutes to talk about Lipedema Canada. So what had inspired it is what some of us have already talked about, just a group of passionate women who knew that our community deserved better. Our mission is to advance equitable healthcare for all Canadians affected by lipedema through advocacy, education, and compassionate support. And our goals are to foster community, increase awareness, and advocate for government acknowledgement and healthcare coverage. So I'm going to ask, I'll start off with Holly, and we can just like everyone, if you want to contribute to this, go ahead. But what is one of your proudest moments in our LibCan journey so far? Holly.
There's two that stand out, I think, to me. Getting the website up was for me a huge accomplishment, because again, I think it's one of the most accessible ways that people will have to the information that they need. And I'm extremely proud of the website. I think having, looked at so much that's on the internet, I think ours is one of the best, if not the best, that's out there. And maybe I'm biased, but I think it's beautiful. And I think the information is really relevant. And very happy that we are able to offer and continue to offer resources like tax tips and guides and things like that that people can use. So getting that launched and doing it in such a fast turnaround to when we started the organization was a huge accomplishment. And I think one other moment stands out for me, was in person when we were in Calgary, and being able to speak to the community in person, and one particular lady who was so emotional and feeling she was in a wheelchair and mobile, and had felt so alone. And I felt such a connection, and I could tell that she was so she just felt so connected to be amongst us and amongst the other people in the community in her area that evening. So yeah, that was very proud moment, I think, to be a part of that.
Great. Helen, what's one of the proudest moments in our journey so far for you?
For me, I think it's all that we've accomplished, and in hindsight, maybe there's some things that people don't know, but today hopefully we'll shed some light on some of the things we're accomplishing. But behind the scenes, the network of women that we are, just paving a way, working hard, for me, I think this is really good. And the more we expand to our community, I feel like we can come together as a community of Lippy sisters, as I often like to call us. And that's something that maybe other either conditions or, organizations may not have. But I think for me, the proudest moment is that I know I can turn around to a random stranger in this group and say something. I'm not going to be judged. I'm going to be supported. I'm going to be given like great advice. And I'm just going to be able to be myself more than probably what I am with my friends and my family, because I'm not going to be judged by anyone in this group. And, I think that's probably the proudest moment for me on this journey so far.
Great. Raina, you're super new to the board. To have what is one of your proudest moments so far in the LipCan journey?
Um, I'm just proud of the professionalism of the organization, of being in awe of all of the work that has been done in such a short amount of time. And I'm just happy to be part of the energy, the enthusiasm, um, and I'm super excited going forward for the future of all of us.
Okay. And Emma, one of our OGs.
As I'm listening to everybody talk about the things that they're so proud of, I could talk for a million years about all the things that we have done. And instead of focusing on the macro, I want to focus on the micro, because I think that some of the smaller, unseen interactions have been the most impactful. I acknowledge that we acknowledge that not everybody in this community feels seen, and having community members who have reached out and found that Lipedema Canada is the only safe space they have found has been incredible. People who maybe are non-binary or trans, who have reached out and known that this was a safe call they could make, and have asked for help on how to navigate an even harder conversation with a physician. All of the emails, all of the messages, all of the interactions, they come in through our inbox. And so, yeah, sometimes inboxes can be a doom place, but once in a while, and probably more often than I think I even acknowledge on a daily basis, we receive messages about how the work that we have done has impacted people's lives. And hearing that somebody felt hopeful, or found answers, or navigated to a clinician who met them with care and compassion, or who was able to hold a conversation and hold their ground with someone who didn't understand or agree because of things we did. And I am one member of a very large community, most of which you can't see right now, because they span from coast to coast. We have allies and friends around the world, including in Europe and the US and all sorts of places, where when Lipedema Canada shows up, people ask, can I have a pin? Can I be an honorary Canadian? And I'd like to be part of what you're doing. And I'm very proud of that.
Amazing. I think those were all such great responses. One thing I just want to add, that I was really proud when we achieved charitable status. If you've ever dealt with the Canadian Revenue Agency, the Canada Revenue Agency, it's a feat in order to obtain charitable status. And because of that, it allows us to fundraise. If you make a donation, we can immediately issue a tax receipt for you. We're able to apply for grants, which we've done, and we are just waiting to hear back on those grants. We've been operating at a very grassroots level, doing amazing stuff, but we can do so much more and do it so much more quickly if we have access to funding. Just to give you a super high level example, we were researching if we wanted to send a couple of our brochures, our patient brochures, and maybe one or two posters to every physician in Ontario, it would cost us, with the postage also, over $200,000. So, yeah, we need funds to be able to do the reach that we want to do. And that's some of the things that we're going to talk about, is what is on our goals list. I'm going to turn it over to Raina. You have some questions you want to ask.
Thanks, Angel. Yeah, I'm gonna ask some questions of Emma. Emma, can you tell us about what our future holds inside your crystal ball? But in terms of what our plans are and what's coming up for Lipedema Canada and our community.
Wow, my crystal ball. Um, uh, there are so many things that are coming up for Lipedema Canada. I myself hold a couple of hats, but one of them is as our medical lead. And things that we're working on for Lipedema Canada is doing an outreach to all of the medical schools, nursing schools, and physiotherapy schools in Canada, because we've done a deep dive on why it's so hard to access care and what are the barriers we're experiencing. And we have come to know that lipedema is not being taught in any Canadian medical schools. And sometimes all you need to do is ask in order to do better. So we're going to be reaching out with the help of Raina. Thank you for asking the question, a fellow nurse we're building a team of medical professionals who can start working on this endeavor. We're also working on putting together a committee of doctors and clinicians who can start working on a Canadian standard of care in allyship with some of the most renowned experts in the world, in the US and in Germany, to help advise what kind of care and treatment should happen. Because guess what? Canada doesn't currently have a standard of care for lipedema. On a medical standpoint, we're also working on lunch and learns. And if you've never had the opportunity to work in a corporate environment where you get to learn stuff while you're supposed to be eating, this is a fun one. We are making presentations on lipedema, and we have lots of interested clinicians who have already started reaching out to receive a 1-hour presentation on the basics of what lipedema is. And then on to what are we doing as a community? We're always community building. We're very excited that the World Lipedema Congress is coming up in November, which is going to be having some incredible research. It's basically the Super Bowl of lipedema, and it's our hope to be able to attend and represent Canada while we're there, as well as bring some clinicians along with us. I could go on for a million years, but the point is that the future is bright. There are lots of big things happening. We need as many helpers as we can get. So if you are watching this right now and thinking, I have some skills I could share, whether you're a graphic designer, a web designer, a person who loves to just be involved, or you want to get more involved in your community, reach out. I promise we will find work for you to do.
Thank you. I had a second question about research, but you already answered it. So thank you.
No problem.
I think it's my time to put Raina a bit on the spot and ask her a couple of questions. So I think, Raina, what I'm more interested in hearing from you is, and especially because you do have a little bit of medical experience, what are the biggest misconceptions about lipedema that we still need to address?
Yeah, thanks, Helen. I think for me, really giving lipedema its own lane, the lane that it deserves, that it is not simply obesity, that is not lymphedema. And I think just continuing to carry the strong message forward about who we are, what we struggle with, and what we deserve in terms of equitable health care. So yeah, I think that's how I would answer that.
Yeah, and then for
Mhm.
anyone who's, newly diagnosed, what kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah, this is still pretty fresh for me. So reach out, research, get on our website, attend the events, really connect with other people, ask the questions. This is a safe community. This is a safe place. There is tons of knowledge here, tons of experience, tons of strength, and tons of hope, which is just, I didn't find until I got here. And so, keep on keeping on, and it's okay to stumble and fall, but just keep on, and like I said, get involved, ask questions, be seen in whatever way you can, and that might change over time. Just be the voice that you can be for yourself. Like I said, look on the website, print the valuable material that we have there, take it to your healthcare practitioner, take a friend with you to your appointment, ask what questions others have asked that is helpful. just hang in there. Hang in there and know that you're not alone. We get it, and we're here to help.
Thanks, Reina. Holly,
Oh,
you're on mute.
Yeah, there's some noise going around in my background with a new puppy, so hopefully she'll stay quiet. Helen, you're in the hot seat now. So Emma alluded to or talked a little bit about some of the initiatives going forward, and all of the things we are hoping to do. But how can you work directly with the volunteers? We have you tasked with that, and you're taking charge. So how can the community get more involved in helping us move this forward?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be working with the volunteers. At one organization I volunteered at before this, they used to call me always Queen Volunteer. I just did anything that anybody wanted. I think there's so many ways to get involved. Any action, big or small, it really does make a difference. So if you can join the volunteer team, so you go through our website, lipedemacanada.org, and then look at the volunteer section, sign up and send us information. That will really go a long way. We take down the credentials. If there's something you see there that maybe you can offer and it's not on our list, write it in the extra notes, and I jot everything down. And we are going to start ramping up our volunteer program this summer, so stay tuned. I'm trying to get emails out and stuff like that. So if you're interested, we're more than happy. The bigger with the team we are, the better. Also, what I find really helps is sharing your personal story to inspire and educate the others. So obviously, we are in a safe space in our community, in our private group, and it's really important that one, we feel free to share our experience, and then ask the questions we have, and with no judgment, right? That's what makes it our safe space. So sharing in the community to inspire the others is really something that could make a difference. That's how we all found out, or many of us found out we had lipedema, because somebody shared a story. Participating in our awareness campaigns and these chats, whatever we have, please feel free to join us. Advocating with us, whether you're writing or talking to your healthcare provider. Most people, whether they want printed or not, we have both versions available of our pamphlet. Take it to your doctor and share it with them. That really does help by getting involved. And simply talking about lipedema. When I first got diagnosed, I was very shy, or I would say maybe still ashamed because I wasn't comfortable in it. But the more I talked about it, the more I felt comfortable. And then the more I had people coming and asking me questions. And, I'm trying to understand my journey and trying to understand other people's journeys so they can be more compassionate with other lipedema patients. So I think just doing some of those simple moves, we're helping to build a movement, and we want everyone to feel like they're part of it. So any of these things you can do is greatly appreciated.
I'm going to jump on what you just said, because you mentioned about not being comfortable and you started sharing your story. And I know, because you told me this, that you shared it in your family, and you had some surprising information recently that you didn't realize in your own family, that of someone who had lipedema.
Yeah, thanks for putting me on the spot, Holly, with that one. Hopefully, I don't start tearing. I think the journey it took a parent. So I come from a Greek background, so it took my parents a little bit of time to digest the information and to take the thought process of I'm unhealthy, I'm fat, and I'm using these words not to insult anybody, but these are the words that I grew up with, and I took those words and we've changed it. So my parents refer to lipedema, the pains. Even my father thought some pictures he saw of legs, he thought they were pictures of my legs. And then I was meant to talk to an uncle in Greece, and this is the story Holly is talking about. And all I wanted was some advice from him because he was a medical professional and he was a gastroenterologist, and I needed to just work with him to see what can help reduce the swelling and the inflammation in my body to help, diminish some of the symptoms of lipedema without surgical intervention. And he yelled at me more than my mother has ever yelled at me my entire life. And he wouldn't stop talking about if I go through with surgeries that it may lead to my death through embolisms, and just not supporting me in any way. And I found that when I took that story back to my mom and my dad, they said, he's an idiot. We're never talking to him again. So they have gotten on board. So the more we start talking about it, the more people are going to start understanding that this exists. So for me, I think that was the best experience, that I finally got my parents to turn around and say, they don't know what they're talking about. This exists. And that's a big accomplishment. So if we each start doing that, automatically, we're going to, make big strides in this community.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it was
Yeah.
supposed to-
Yeah,
to
Emma, you're up.
attack me.
Well, I don't know what I'm supposed to ask you because I'm
You're
going
on
to be
mute there,
perfectly. Hang on. Where were we? I have no idea what I'm supposed to ask you because for those of you watching at home, everything that you see that's happening in front of you is run by me. And I didn't even consider that I should maybe open up the notes that my teammates are working from. I kept this organic. So, does someone want to give me an idea of what I'm supposed to ask and to whom?
I'll pinch hit for you, Emma.
Thank you.
Hey, Holly, what's coming up this month?
Well, I'm going to put everybody else on the spot, but obviously tonight is the Fireside Chat that we're kicking off Lipedema Awareness Month, as everyone watching this knows. It's a very important month for us, and we want to spread awareness, and we want to have some fun, and we want to bring the community together. So on June 5th, we are having, we'll be part of Thrive at Any Size podcast. And I think that's you, Emma, is it?
Yeah, I opened the script. I'm good now. I've got it. The Thrive at Any Size was a conversation myself and Diana Dymock had with an Alberta emergency medicine physician named Michelle Tubman, who actually runs a podcast called Thrive at Any Size. And they had us on their podcast to talk about lipedema, and it was supposed to just be a 30-minute call. And I think we were still on the call literally at hour 3, and we were talking about the most intense parts of our journey, and it was so passionate. So please, we've linked it to the website as well. It's up in an event. So Thrive at Any Size is going to put their podcast out on the 5th. You guys should absolutely check it out. I hope I didn't say anything crazy.
And we have some really cool things happening to, again, raise awareness. There's Lipedema in Lights on June 11th, both in Toronto at the CN Tower, and in Burlington at the Brent Street Pier. And we're hoping that this becomes a national thing at some point in different places. And so if anybody has any leads on how to make that happen, please let us know. Also on June 11th, there's part 1 of a webinar, and our resident spokesperson, Ms. Emma, you can talk about this both on part 1 and part 2 for June 11th and June 12th.
Alrighty. So the Nurses Wound Care and Ostomy group, which is a national organization here in Canada, they reached out to us and actually asked if Lipedema Canada could do some presenting for them. And I got to be honest, at first I was a little bit surprised because I'm thinking, I get the nurse part, but the wound care and ostomy part, I didn't exactly know how that fit with lipedema. But I came to know that their president actually has lipedema and is a member of our community and is, like us, so passionate about making sure people know about lipedema. So they asked me to present a 2-part webinar. The first is going to be the basic assessment and differential diagnosis for lipedema. So if you've ever wondered, well, how do we teach a clinician, or how does a clinician know how to assess you, and what are they looking for? What does it feel like? What does lipedema look like? What makes it different from obesity, completely different from lymphedema and its own separate disease entity? I am going to answer those questions with pictures and scholarly articles to back it up. And then that webinar, of course, will be available for clinicians to use for years to come. And then the second part, because they said, hey, Emma, this sounds like a lot of information. Could we split this up so that we can ask as many questions as possible? I said, sure. The second one is called 8 Surprising Truths about lipedema and why Canadians are being left behind. And 8 Surprising Truths comes from the most common questions that not only I had, but all of us have had. Questions we get every day in the inbox, every day on the Facebook groups, the Instagram, like, why is it so hard to get access to care? Why are there not clinicians that understand it? Why, when I get diagnosed, is there no resources? Why do we have to fight the provinces for care? Every one of those things does have an answer. Some of those answers you're not going to like, but I'm going to give them to you in that second part webinar called 8 Simple Truths. Both of those are available on our website right now. You can go and register. Everything we're talking about is free. Go register, get ready to participate, and get ready to pack in a whole lot of passionate rage.
We can't go away yet. This next talk is really poignant for me because it's lipedema and menopause. And again, that's how I stumbled into lipedema, the knowledge of lipedema. So tell us about that one.
I am very excited about the lipedema and menopause conversation. I met Dr. Celia Egan from Grand Rapids, Michigan, when Lipedema Canada was in the US for the Fat Disorders Research Society conference. Dr. Egan gave a presentation at that event about lipedema and menopause, answering so many of the questions that I, as a not quite perimenopausal person, have, as that's the next big hormone change. And I'm really nervous about what does that mean and what are the implications for hormone replacement therapy? And do we or don't we? Or somebody had to know. And this angel of a human stood up in front of us on this stage and answered every one of my questions. And I practically rushed her in the lobby and I said, please, will you give this webinar to Lipedema Canada? And we are so grateful that Dr. Egan said yes. So please, again, this one is free. Lipedema and menopause coming your way for June 12. Yes.
Helen, I'm throwing this one at you. We have a trivia night coming. Tell us all about it.
Oh my God, I love games. If anyone knows, I'm the organizer at my company for employee engagement, so I love games. We're setting up a Kahoot trivia game on June 17th. So we are looking for 3 contestants to compete for a grand prize. So it's going to be an exciting grand prize. So I hope when you see the information made available, you sign up. We'll pick contestants randomly. But this is going to be not only a fun game, but a very educational game. So we're not going to make it easy for you folks. So I don't know, pull out all our pamphlets, look up our website and start studying because we're going to have some good trivia questions going on in that Kahoot game. So stay tuned for more information and how to sign up to become a contestant.
I can't wait to see that.
And then don't forget about the at-home participation. There's also a great prize for that.
Oh, yes, it's true. There's going to be 3 main contestants, and then we're going to have a prize for the at-home contestants. All the instructions will be made available to you, but stay tuned for more information. It's going to be good prizes too.
Really good.
Angel, there's something going on in Manitoba on the June 24th as well. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, we're having an in-person event, Lipedema at the Ledge. So both Emma and I live in Winnipeg. And so at the Manitoba Legislature, we are having an event. It's on a Tuesday night. We are hoping to have government officials. We're in the process of inviting our MLAs. If you're from Manitoba and you would like to invite your personal MLA to the event, send me an email at president@lipedemacanada.org, and we can give you a form letter that you could send to your MLA. It's just nice to have that personal connection to invite them to the event. We've also invited some service providers, so MLD therapists, compression fitters, to set up tables at the event that they can, talk about what their services are and how they can help you with your lipedema journey. And if we can get some government officials there, we're really hoping that they'll participate in some fun activities that just give a better understanding of what it's like living in a lipedema body and some of the things that we have to do as a result. And then Holly had talked before about some light up in Toronto. We also have some lights happening in Winnipeg. So that night on June 24th, it's going to happen late because that's like summer solstice basically. So when it's darker out, the big Winnipeg sign that's at the Forks and also the Provencher Bridge, like Esplanade Bridge, will be lit up, which is the beautiful bridge crossing into St. Boniface from downtown Winnipeg and potentially the legislative building dome. We're just waiting to hear back on that. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that in-person event. The
Excellent.
first of many. We really want this to happen in other cities also. So if you're interested in organizing an in-person event, we are doing this with zero budget. And so yeah, like send us a message if you're interested in organizing an event in your community.
Perfect. Raina, do you feel like talking about some photos?
Sure. I might need some help on this, but it sounds like we're having a photo contest. I'm guessing there's going to be prizes. So stay tuned for the info coming on that.
We'll be publishing everything in social for sure, but we are looking for photos from people, and we're hoping these images, you'll see all the like Helen said, all the instructions will be in the social, but we are really hoping to inspire and empower people with some images from across the country.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that and for prizes.
Can I add something to that, Holly, for the photo
Sure.
contest?
Yeah.
Just so you know, because obviously with photo contests, there's some rules and regulations. So I just want everyone to know that when you see the social media posts, make sure you go to our website and read the photo contest rules because we are potentially using some of these pictures in our future communications. So whatever you submit, yes, there is a nice prize at the end of it. It's very exciting prize month for lipedema awareness, but we want to make sure you read through the contest rules and you're comfortable. So you have to be of legal age, 18 years old, 18 years old or older. And just make sure that if you do have multiple people in the pictures, you have everybody's consent. This is just some of the rules. So please go through all the contest rules. And if you do have any questions, reach out to us and ask. But this one's going to be a fun one because we want to see everybody's point of view on what is lipedema for them.
And I just want to add too, we would love to see photos that you're with maybe a landmark for your province or your city, whatever. Like if you have like a big Winnipeg sign that's lit up, that would be an amazing photo to submit with you in the photo. Yeah, or like any kind of landmark. If you're at Niagara Falls and you want to snap a picture of you and your showing off you and your compression while visiting Niagara Falls, just some things like that or on Parliament Hill. Like just, yeah, think about how you can show your representation of you living with lipedema in Canada.
I can't wait to see what we get. You mentioned, Angel, about what we could do if we had more funds. We have some fundraising goals as well for this month. Can you tell us about that?
For sure. This is the first. We have not had merch for Lipedema Canada yet. And so for the month of June, if you donate $150, you get a t-shirt or long sleeve shirt of your choice. There's two different designs and then there's three shirts in total to choose from. And then you get a great notebook that has Lipedema Canada and some images on it. And then a nice tote bag that has like sort of the spot the signs images that we've used in some of our banners and other posts. A donation of $150 or more, you get a tax receipt for that full amount and you get some great merch sent to you and you can proudly wear Lipedema Canada merch. I'm wearing a shirt right now. I'll back up and see if I can. This is one of them. I don't know if it's backwards or if you guys can read.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. That's one of the shirts. This is the long sleeve one. So maybe not awesome for summertime, but it'll be great to have.
Raina, you have a different one on, right? Do you want to show yours?
I have the sass. It's the definition of lipedema with a little bit of sass at the end.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think in some of the group chats there was some comments about everybody loved the merch and they saw Emma when she was talking the same shirt that Reina and Emma are wearing. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
with
Nice.
a with a nice donation, you are able to get that shirt if you want to. So keep that in mind.
I have
Angel,
my bag. I have my bag handy. Oh no, you can't see.
Oh,
There's
okay.
my
oh, cool.
bag.
Oh, but that's
Now,
going to be
kind of
different.
see.
That's
Oh,
not
well,
that.
be different.
Yeah,
That's not the bag. Sorry.
so
It's a
it's a
bag.
bag.
It's
It's
a
a
bag.
bag.
A bag.
Angel, you didn't mention our goal though.
Yes, our goal is $5,000. Yeah.
Yeah, and we could really use that, and we put our funds, almost all of our funds go towards our brochures, as Angel had mentioned. The amount that we're, first of all, I don't know if you want to speak to that, Angel, how much we have, how many brochures we've given out at this point. I don't know if you have a number offhand. I'm putting you on the spot right now, but we've been giving them out at events, sending them out when people come in as I don't know if people know this, but when they um, sign up on when they ask for it on our website, they can get it, and we send them out for free. Yeah, it costs a lot of money to do these things.
It does. We have mailed out just from my house to people across the country. We've mailed out 2,500 brochures. But then we have also given out a ton at events like Holly was talking about. So we have printed almost 10,000 brochures.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's wild. Yeah.
that is crazy.
So for anybody
And
who's wondering, I just thought I would just chime in about the people are asking about the merch. So I am getting the merchandise ready to go up on our website, and also a great suite of social assets and an entire page just for lipedema awareness are headed up. I do apologize I didn't get up by June 1st, but we are still a volunteer board doing everything we can all the time. So be patient and wait for the announcement probably tomorrow. As well, somebody was asking about our trivia contest, and that's going to be up on the website shortly. We're keeping it a little bit more under wraps until we make our grand prize announcements. So definitely get your shirts. If you are looking at the white one, by the way, they fit a little bit on the smaller side, and we can order them in a different one, but I just wanted to give you the heads up. But these ones are a little bit on the petite side. Continue.
Okay. One other thing that I wanted to mention was this month we'll be publishing our annual report, and that should be out by the end of the month for sure. And all of these things will be coming out in our social, so stay tuned for all the details.
Amazing. Okay, we are at the Q&A part. So Emma, do you have questions for us?
Of course I do. Andrea would like to know if one of our prizes is a new car.
I
A
wish.
Hot Wheels car, maybe?
Yeah.
No, it's not a new car. I think we can we can tell them about the photo contest prize. Yes? No? Somebody give me a thumbs up.
Sure. What the heck?
Okay.
Yeah.
One of our primary sponsors is Bauerfeind Canada, and Bauerfeind is a provider of custom-made flat knit compression garments specialized for lipedema. And even if they weren't our sponsor, I would still tell you that I love them because I really honestly do. They were kind enough to donate or provide us with 2 pairs back in October that we are able to now give out. And so for photo contests, all you need to do is tag us. So at Lipedema Canada or _Canada on Instagram, and post the photos. And we will have a random generator that every time you post a photo, you are entered to win. So long as you've read the rules, we're all set. And then our other prize for trivia night, are we allowed to talk about that, or should I?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, sure. I mean,
Let's
if
do it.
people tuned into this, we want to give them first
Well, I got to
knowledge of
spill the
it.
tea. We talked about spilling the
That's what
tea.
we
Let's
did.
do
Okay.
it. Let's do it.
So Lipedema Canada's one of our other sponsors is Life Pro, and they are the providers of vibration plates, which hilariously, if you ever see our screens rumbling while we're on a live, it's because many of the board members actually keep our vibration plates under our desks in order, because we're doing a lot of meetings. And so we rumble right through. And you will too. So our grand prize winner for the Lipedema Trivia Night will be receiving a waiver vibration plate donated or provided by LifePro, as well as training sessions also provided by LifePro expert Debbie Pelche, who is going to be giving away more than one session. And there'll be prizes for folks at home and prizes for our in-studio audience. So fun.
Very exciting.
Okay, more questions. I'm looking. Still people asking about cars. Okay, Candice, Candy, I apologize. I did see your question earlier. This is an excellent one. What is the difference between lipedema and, quote, fat? I think I may have lipedema, and a friend does too, but I am scared to go to the doctor because they would just tell you you're fat. Funny you should ask. I would take this, but I'm wondering, Raina, seeing as you've been in nursing training, lipedema nurse training, would you like to take this?
Sure.
Go for it.
So what is the difference? There are so many differences. I would encourage you to get on the website, download there's information you can take to your primary care physician, educate yourself first. There's hallmark symptoms. There's the way your knee might look. There's the way the fat accumulates, the texture of the fat. I could use all kinds of medical terms, but I'm not going to. There's frequent bruising. There's so many things. It's not just fat. It's the kind of fat. It's where it accumulates. It's a disproportionate between a smaller, usually, I'm generalizing, smaller upper body, larger lower body, normal sized feet, normal sized hands. What else? There's so many things. Spot.
Do you want me to dive in?
The way, no, I
okay, keep going.
The way my thigh curves on the front, there's a C curve. I'm looking at my cheat sheet. There's
butt shelf.
Butt shelf. you know when you're trying to carry your niece or nephew or child, they sit perfectly on the back of your hip. That's a butt shelf, and that's hallmark. Pain. I didn't realize that I had pain until I spoke to people and said, you mean everybody's legs don't ache at the end of the day? I thought that that's just because I was fat. That's not the case. My legs ache. I always put my legs up. I didn't know why. This is why, because it's relief for me to elevate my legs. Anyway, there's Emma can rattle.
You nailed it, buddy. Its primary one is pain. Regular adiposity, regular obesity fat is not painful. Lipedema fat is painful. That is a hallmark requirement of the diagnosis. So you can have everything else you mentioned, and that is also true. But it's the pain that makes lipedema in a world of its own, a class of its own, or as Raina said at the top of the hour, a lane of its own. Okay. Oh, Heather has a good question. Heather's asking, what is the best way to ask you wonderful people a question besides in a chat on a live? Good news. We all have emails, and you can send one to info@lipedemacanada.org. And then you can reach out to any one of us, and we receive through the general inbox. And if there's a specific question you have, we'll send it over to the person who is in charge of that area. Let's see. Okay.
Cool. I just want to add one thing. When Raina said about downloading the information, you can also request the brochures on our website. Take those professionally printed brochures into your doctor's office, which I think is just like a step up from having printed it at home. But give us a bit of time. It might take like 2 weeks to get to you for volunteers.
Yeah. Or longer if Canada Post does the Canada Post thing. Doris, I had your question up just a second ago. Post photos of what for a chance to win compression? The answer is post photos of existing with lipedema. Now, on the website, on the special page that I'm going to put live for you, hopefully tomorrow, there will be downloadable things that you can just pop your picture into and then put it up to socials as well. So that's going to be an easy way, but literally it could be you at the grocery store, you at the out shopping, you at the beach, wear the shorts, on your vibration plate, exhausted with your legs up, feet up on the wall, anything that shows you as a Canadian living with lipedema in an authentic way. These are empowered images is the feature of this particular photo contest. So it's about showing that unlike the ideas that some people might have is that everybody who has lipedema is just like, you know, we're really sad about having lipedema. This is a powerful community. And I think that this board shows just how motivated, passionate, and capable we are. We'd love to see that reflected in your photos. So photos of that, go for that. Okay, we are running down on time. Let me have a quick look through the questions here. Got some great comments online. Somebody asked, and I'm just looking for it. They were asking about if there was anyone in Saskatchewan. So I can't find the question right now because you guys are asking a lot of great questions. Oh, here we go. Candy is asking, is there anyone in Saskatchewan? There are folks in Saskatchewan. We don't have any Lipedema Canada board members specifically from Saskatchewan, but we do have community members from Saskatchewan. And if you are thinking of wanting to ask for something to be lit up or connect with that community, head to our Facebook support group. That is where 2,500 people have gathered to tell you where they live and what they're experiencing and who they see for help. So that is the best place to go to find people in your local area. Okay.
Emma, one of the things we didn't mention, and when we talked about things to come, was our database.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, someone did ask a question about that. They were saying, I'm on your website and I can't find your list of providers. So our list of providers is there and it is in a drop-down, but it's going to get a whole lot easier to find very soon. One of our passion projects is that we have been working on a searchable provider database, which will have all of the physicians, clinicians that have been identified to us, physiotherapists, nurses, even some nutritionists, personal trainers, and mental health professionals who are all lipedema knowledgeable and or lipedema friendly, because we got to remember that sometimes they're not going to have all the knowledge we need, but a willing heart is a good place to start. So that provider database is going to be up shortly. But in the meantime, under our contact page, you can find a link to it there. We have a less fancy but very accurate provider database that is live presently, and you can go and see if there's anybody in your area who can help you out.
And I would throw in that as we get that database up, one of the important things is that these providers will be inputting their information. So if people in the community know they have a physiotherapist, they have a massage therapist, they have people that are already treating them, please encourage them to sign up to our database so that that information can be used by others.
Absolutely. We're in our last 30 seconds, guys.
Okay. Is there any more questions that you want to go, or should we wrap it up?
I'm going to go look. I love our audience. There's hundreds of questions in here. Hang on.
Aw, that's great.
Somebody is asking, yes, there are fitters. Diana is talking about, is there a list on the website? Yes. There are fitters in Alberta. Yes. Lots of them. We have a fantastic community in Alberta, actually. So a huge portion of our list is actually Alberta providers, and some of them are even here in the audience with us right now. So definitely, if you're looking for more answers to any things, please go to lipedemacanada.org. It is a constant labor of love to keep that updated for you. And if there's things that you need that you don't see there yet, we want to hear about it. Send it to us, and we'll try to work on it, and maybe we'll work on it with you. So,
and the list is currently under the resources for patients section.
Yes, and it's also linked under our contact page. But yeah, it's in a bunch of places. So amazing! Thanks for coming to Fireside Chat, you guys. This was fun. We hung out.
I just want to thank all the board members. This was amazing. It was so great to hear everyone's stories and share what you're excited about for Lipedema Canada. I hope that everybody learn some things about what our initiatives are for the coming year. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. So great to have you here. I can't wait to go and look through all the comments and questions. We want you to stay connected with us always through our website, through social media. Keep spreading awareness about lipedema. It's so important for you to share our posts where it's like there's going to be so much social media this month specifically, but please also think about sharing that to your social media feeds. I've had so many, more than a dozen people that have reached out to me that I personally know, just that because I've been sharing my story and lipedema posts, that they've reached out and said, I think I have this, and just start that conversation. So, I mean, it affects 1 in 9 females assigned at birth. So, in your circle of Facebook peeps, there's gonna be quite a few people in there that have lipedema and they don't know it yet. So, help us spread awareness by sharing those posts, because really, like together, we're making a difference, and we're super proud of our community and super proud of all the work that we're doing.
And bring
Yeah.
brochures to doctors, any doctors you go to. I keep a few in my purse just to hand
Yeah.
out to people.
Like weapons. And yeah, so those assets, someone is asking in the comments. So before I sign us off, I'll answer this question. Both our Facebook cover photo and all of the social media assets that we will be sharing this month will be available on the website for you to download and use. And you can share them by reposting, or you can download them and share them individually yourself. Our assets are here for you to raise awareness. And that is the whole point of Lipedema Awareness Month. So the folks are referring to this image right here. And we're going to have that one up on the website tomorrow. So that's all the time we have for tonight. Angel, I'm going to turn it back to
I
you.
just
And you
want
can send us
to
out.
say one more thing about the assets. So sometimes there's confusion. If you're in our Facebook group, you might not be able to share that to your page. But if you go to our Lipedema Canada page, so if you go to the original post that was shared into the group, go to that original Lipedema Canada page post, then you can share it from there. That's a common confusion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing.
Perfect. We
This
nailed
was so
it.
fun, you guys. I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah.
Happy Lipedema Awareness Month, everybody.
Yes. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
See you on the internet.
Bye.